Having a beautiful home is not about talent. It's not even about budget. It's about following a specific formula. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been doing this work for 5 years now. And until I knew number 4, I was even getting it all wrong. So I'm gonna break it down for you in today's video. And I'm partnering with Skylight to do so. And I'm so excited to share their Skylight calendar 2 with you. But let's get into today's video. Every beautiful home tailors their lighting to both the daytime and the nighttime. What does that mean? So you walk into a beautiful home during the daytime and it's wonderful. They have gorgeous floor to ceiling windows, dreamy window treatments, and they have like a cool lamp or two and you're like, cool, amazing. And then at nighttime, they have highlighted features. They have sconces, they have light bars underneath their cabinetry, and they have all these layers that maybe you would have missed, but without them, you're like, oh my gosh, these items are so functional. What I often find in homes is that people will get lamps that they enjoy, that look nice, but they'll only get 1 or 2 forms of lighting, and they don't actually audit the space and figure out what type of lighting they need to make their home look functional when the overhead lights are on and when the sun is down. At nighttime, you're not meant to have your overlights on. That is a fact. You're meant to be winding down, right? We have to cater to our circadian rhythms, and we're trying to lull ourselves to sleep. Having scary fluorescent lighting on, at 9 p.m. just is not the move. So what I want you to be doing is relying on accent lamps, light strips, things like that. But if you don't audit your space and honestly just sit in the pitch black like a scary movie and figure out the different areas that need to be illuminated, you are not tailoring your home to your needs and you're not making your home look beautiful, because if you aren't doing that, your home only looks beautiful during the day because we can't actually see anything at nighttime for it to be beautiful. Part of a home looking beautiful, part of a home being beautiful is it being functional. And if you can't see, it isn't functional. I think sometimes we lose the plot and only think about things looking good, but then we don't get the right types of light fixtures that, shoot light outwards as opposed to just shooting light downwards. We do not cater to our needs and just cater to aesthetics, and that actually ends up detracting from the beauty because we can't appreciate the space at all times of day. Now, switching up your lighting, layering your lighting, that's going to take time. But a way you can make your home instantly look more beautiful today is to make your organization systems almost inconspicuous. What do I mean by that? Some people have tons of baskets out in the open. You have all of those clear acrylic containers that everyone can see. You may be organized, but that organization is causing visual clutter because everything is right in your face. There's been this huge craze of acrylic organization containers. Why do you want to see the junk inside the containers? That to me just doesn't make any sense. I would rather conceal it in a wicker container, behind some doors. Every beautiful home I've ever been in has hidden their organization systems. I'm not saying you don't have stuff. I'm not saying you have a butler's pantry, because I think that's where a lot of people jump to. No, this isn't about money. This is about the systems that we implement. A really good example, you have an appliance. You love to bake, you love to chef it up, you love to air fry, whatever. Instead of leaving that all on the kitchen countertop, you have an appliance lift and you use that instead. Instead of having all your utensils out in a utensil crock, you use drawer liners and dividers to maximize that space in your drawers. You're just going to be a little bit smarter about your organization system, so all the things are still an inch away, 5 seconds away. So I want you to stand in your kitchen and think about how you move in the space and then organize accordingly. Another way I see people really ruin their kitchens, their entryways, is with the giant calendar. Now, I had one of these growing up. We had this giant calendar. I was always getting crumbs on it. I was always spilling my drink on it. It drove my grandmother insane. And then we were always like scribbling something out. It was horrible. We even had that in my own home in Pittsburgh. So instead of doing something like that, you can start using the Skylight Calendar 2 to stay organized because it's sleek, it's compact, it can blend in. And I do want to say a huge thank you again to Skylight for sponsoring today's video. Now, if you're not familiar with Skylight Calendar 2, this is going to change your life. So basically, it is an all-in-one family hub. So it is a calendar and you're able to sync the calendars of every single person in the family. So you can still use whatever calendar apps that you like, and then it all syncs together to show up on the Skylight. And not only do the calendars sync, but they are color-coded. So every person in the family has their own color, so you know who is where and what they're doing, but we are also familiar with what the other people have going on. Now, The skylight can be modified directly on the hub itself, which I love, but it also comes with an app on your phone. And this app doesn't require a subscription. And that's where you can make updates, you can make changes. I just love a skylight calendar too. And something I love about it, especially since we're talking about our organization systems being inconspicuous, is that you can use it with this stand, but you can also mount it on the wall vertically. You can incorporate it into a gallery wall. You can put it around the corner. So, it is not the first thing you see when you walk into a space. It's very sleek and it just kind of blends in. And not only does Skylight Calendar 2 keep you organized in terms of the calendar, but there are also tasks. So let me tell you, we recently just moved to Philadelphia, new job, new school, new extracurriculars, new clients. The life of the Brent family over here, it's hectic. So what I love about this task feature is all the tasks that people have to do get written in one centralized place. So I have one, my spouse has one, the baby has one, and then we have tasks that are just like kind of up for grabs. And not only does this put all the information in one space and kind of remind you to get things done, there's also a reward system. And this is especially great if you have kids. So basically the way this reward system works is that when your kid checks off that they have done a chore, they earn a star, and you can decide what those stars amount to and what that reward looks like. So for my daughter, she's just 2 years old. Her chore is to put her clothes in the hamper. And for every day she does that, she earns a star. 2 stars, she gets a new book. 4 stars, she gets a new toy. 10 stars, she gets 15 minutes of screen time. So she's incentivized to do the things that are just going to make her a well-rounded adult. Other features I really love about the Skylight Calendar 2 is that it creates lists. So my grocery list, I have a grocery list there. So anytime I'm cooking and I'm like, oh, I don't have this. I didn't have baking powder the other day. It's on my list. I can reference it on my phone while I'm out of the grocery store to make sure I don't miss anything. We have gymnastics tonight. I know that because it's on the calendar. There is a to-do list which says to pack the gymnastics bag, which I still need to do. Those are things that would end up as sticky notes all around the house. Now everything is centralized in one place and it just keeps us organized. And I cannot tell you, 1, how much better our communication is as a family, and 2, how much time we have reclaimed. Because instead of going back and forth about the calendar and spending time doing that, we're instead spending time as a family, reading, listening to something, going for a walk, and it's really amazing. The Skylight Calendar 2 has really improved our quality of life, and I think it's really going to help you with yours, as well as keeping your organization inconspicuous. If you're ready to get organized, click the link in my description box and use my code KIVAB30 to save $30 on the 15-inch calendar and the 27-inch calendar max. So now that we've dealt with the organizational aspect, let's deal with your blank walls, because this is what's ruining a lot of your homes. On your walls, I want you to have at least one piece of art or decor that breaks from the mold of your interior design style. It is very easy for people to fall into the trap of every painting being the same style, kind of the same size, and instead of it looking beautiful, interesting, it starts to look showroom. And you guys have seen me get this wrong myself before, so I'm not judging you, I'm just telling you how to fix it. I want you to have at least one painting in the space that says, whoa, that's a little different. It makes you do a double take, it makes your guests do a double take, because it just adds some interest. So this could be a fun pop of a color. This could be a fun frame, a new pattern. I don't care what the difference is, but something that just blends your existing style with something different, just to layer on some more interest. That's all we're doing here. Now, if you don't like artwork, this can be something that you do with wall coverings. This can be a decorative accent, but I just want you, for every room of your home, add one thing that is like of a different style. It's just going to add some interest, and it's going to just make it look a little bit more unexpected, because a trap we fall into is we're replicating these showrooms. Again, I've done this as well, and we replicate them to a T. And when we replicate, we lose the parts of the room that represent us. So honestly, I don't even want you to necessarily find something that's of a different design style. I just want you to find something that you like, that you said, oh, I can't have that because it wasn't in the catalog, and add it. That is going to make your space look so much more beautiful. And I truly believe that a lot of beautiful interior design is confidence. And if you feel confident in your space, in your design choices, and how your space it makes you feel, it gives off beautiful when other people are around it. Now, if you don't want to do that, you're like, Kiva, that I'm unwilling to do that. That makes me uncomfortable. I at least want you to go overscaled. Having something overscaled makes something look beautiful because you're like, oh wow, this again is breaking from the mold, and it just like takes up more visual space and gives us more to appreciate, because most people do things underscaled. So when something is overscaled, it is especially striking. That's why you're attracted to the things that you see at like a Pottery Barn or Restoration Hardware. The designs by Kelly Worthler, a lot of the things are overscaled, and it almost makes you uncomfortable in a really, really good way. Another way you're going to make your home look more beautiful is to incorporate your TV into the design instead of letting it stick out like a sore thumb. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to have a TV. You can have a TV. I do not care. But having your TV on the wall and having that be the only thing on the wall, that's a crime. That's a crime. What you need to start doing is incorporating your television somehow. You can incorporate it into a gallery wall. You can put it in a frame. You can frame it in something that's the same color as the accent wall the television's sitting on. You can put art on either side. You can put a basket and a tree on either side. You can flank it with lamps. I do not care what you do. I just gave you a myriad of options, but it should not be the only thing on that wall, because that is just such a waste of space. It is such a waste of space, and it is such a waste of an opportunity to articulate something about you and your family. Every single part of the home is a canvas, and you need to treat it as such. So you need to treat it as a canvas in terms of how to express your creativity and who you are, and also treat it as a canvas for like useful things, right? So why would you only put a TV up on the wall when that same wall could hold some storage items? They could, hold some greenery that's going to help filter your air or whatever, or hold some lighting that's going to help better illuminate the space, because we already talked about lighting. It is a big mistake to let a wall only have one purpose, because we only have 4 walls, right, in the house. We need to make the most of them. Now we're on to number 5, which is the one that I said was the most important. So if you're not listening, I need you to lock in. And if you're enjoying today's video so far, please smash that subscribe button, because I'd love to have you as a member of the community. So the next thing that is stopping your home from looking beautiful is that you're painting the entire thing the same color. What you should be doing instead is transitioning your home from color to color in a way that makes sense, but it shouldn't all be the same, because then it's all one note. Now, do I want you to have 50 shades of cream? Maybe I do, because I want each room to have its different vibe. I've talked about this before. I painted my entire house super white by Benjamin Moore. There are only 2 rooms left that are super white by Benjamin Moore. So I paid all that money and I undid it, because when something is all the same color, it is very difficult to make the zones feel different. And it's very difficult to elicit different emotions and experiences in those spaces if they all feel the same, right? So your living room should feel different from your bedroom, because your bedroom is where you rest and your living room is where you entertain. Your bedroom should feel different from your office, because your office is where you work and your bed, again, is where you get rest. So you want the paint colors to kind of signify that. However, what people get wrong, and this stops their homes looking from beautiful, is that it's like a color blocking thing, and it looks almost like you forgot that one room was connected to the other. So you want to transition the colors, not only in terms of like your paint techniques, but doing something as simple as having like a consistent sheen. So if you have eggshell in your dining room, maybe you'll also have eggshell in your living room if it's an open concept. I know you're like, well, dining rooms are supposed to have something that's maybe like a semi-gloss. I don't care, okay? We still want it to be consistent if the rooms are connected, especially if they're different colors, because it's going to help them feel continuous. It could be something as simple as having the same trim all throughout the house. All of the trim is painted the same color instead of maybe color drenching another room, and it just creates that sense of cohesion. But we want the paint to transition from room to room, from area to area. We don't want it to be like sharp and color blocking, because you're like, is this the same house? This feels weird, this feels awkward, and it also makes all of the rooms feel a little bit smaller, and that is not something that signifies beauty in the design space, though I know that that is a controversial take, and we can talk about that another time. Also, someone just needs to say it, everything being the same color is just plain boring. White's a fine color, but it's boring. Every color gets boring when you see too much of it, so just experiment with multiple colors. They can be neutrals, and if you don't know any neutral paint colors, be sure to follow me over on Pinterest, because I post about paint colors almost every single day. Now, this is a big one, and this is something that every beautiful home I've ever been in has in common. They orient their furniture to promote conversation. So people will just like find the empty wall in the room and they put their sofa against it, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. It does make sense visually. You're like, okay, that's where the sofa goes. But that isn't always the right move. Homes are meant to be lived in. They are meant for people in a unit to converse and spend time together. So why would we orient our furniture in a way that doesn't lend itself to that, right? So we want to orient our furniture, our seating options towards other seating options. And then you're like, I want to watch the TV. You can watch the damn TV and also look your wife in the face, okay? Or look your child in the face. You can do both. I'm not saying you have to choose between the two. Tough choice for some people. You don't have to choose, but I want the furniture to be oriented towards one another because we want to foster communication. We want to have eye contact. Engaging in eye contact is a lost art. And not only do you want those furniture items to be oriented towards one another, but you want to set them up so that that person is able to walk into the conversation, right? You want them to be able to easily maneuver into the conversation and not feel like they're interrupting. They can feel like they can really easily join. So that's having different types of seating, having grab and go seating, like a nice little ottoman, having things placed in a way that are just easy to access. So whether it's having swivel bases or casters, little details like that really make your space more livable and foster better communication. And that also brings us to tip number 7, which is making your living space feel open in terms of sightline. So what does that mean? Every beautiful home that I've ever worked in and walked into feels really open, but that doesn't mean it's devoid of furniture, and that doesn't mean that it's empty. What I mean by that is that people have strategically placed their furniture so that you're always walking into conversations and the sight line is clear. So if you have like a really high back chair, that chair is being pushed up against the wall, and then there's a different type of furniture that's floating. If you have a sofa with a really high back, or it just like takes up too much space, or the people in your family are really, really tall, so if the sofa is kind of floating in space, they're gonna mess up the sight line. We're gonna orient the space a little bit differently so that it feels a lot more open. We're gonna orient the furniture in a way where those tall items aren't blocking the sight line. With that being said though, we are still going to have items that are different heights, because when everything is the same height, it looks boring. We want things to be different heights and different shapes, but we want your sight line to be relatively continuous. So I want you to take like the average height of like your sofa and then keep all the other seating options within like 4 to 6 inches of that. That's going to give you a really nice like kind of like glancing experience, but allow for nuance, differences, sophistication. So basically what you're going to end up looking for is seating with the same seat height but different back heights, right? So we're going to have a little bit of difference, but we're still going to allow for really direct eye contact because of those similar seat heights. And the similar seat heights are going to allow us to enjoy the television in the same way, enjoy the wall art in the same way, and have a very uniform experience so that we can, really foster a sense of bonding. But we're never going to stick a big lamp in the way, a big chair in the way, a big tree in the way, because blocking the sight line is one of the worst things you can do, because it makes the space feel closed off and very disjointed. Okay, you guys, that's it for today's video. Now you know the exact formula to make your home look beautiful. If you follow each and every one of these steps, I promise you, your home is going to instantly look better. I truly guarantee it. And if you're ready to get organized, click the link in my description box and use my code KIVAB30 for $30 off the 15-inch calendar or the 27-inch calendar max. Until next time, have a beautiful day.